What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are back with another Hot Toys figure unboxing and review. Today we are featuring the Batman modern suit from the movie The Flash, played by Michael Keaton, making a return as the Batman in this movie. For me, as a fan of his, it was a big thrill to see him in action. I thought he played the character phenomenally. It's like he never left, so it was such a big thrill to see him, and I'm very glad to know that I'm gonna get this figure in the collection. This is my second Michael Keaton figure, the other one being from the 1989 movie. We will obviously make a lot of side-by-side comparisons between the two, and I will let you guys know which is the better figure of the two. As far as this figure specifically, I did get it on Sideshow Collectibles, so as always, I will include the link to the website on the description below if you guys want to go ahead and buy this figure and set it up for pre-order. So guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the unboxing and review. Okay, everyone, so this is obviously my second consecutive figure unboxing from The Flash. The last video we did Supergirl. I thought that the figure box was amazing. This one for the Batman, even better. This might be my favorite box I've ever received from Hot Toys. So obviously we get an image of Batman in the middle along with the name of the movie and the figure at the very bottom. We get some lighting effects obviously representing the Flash, and we get this kind of stray of light that is illuminating Batman across the whole box. It looks absolutely phenomenal, and the color effects on the background are supposed to represent the figure. So with Supergirl we got red and blue. With the Batman, we get black and yellow. On the right side, we get more lighting effects. That once again, that bright kind of illumination type of effect at the very top, the name of the figure in the middle, and the Flash movie logo at the top. On the back side, more lighting effects, a black colored background along with the Batman logo at the very top, and warning and legal information for Hot Toys, as they always like to include. As I mentioned before, the color effects look absolutely amazing, and I love the fact that they're doing the color effects to represent each figure individually. On the left side, it's pretty much going to be the same thing as the right, more lighting effects, the name of the figure, the Flash logo, but this time we get a small part of Batman's cape at the very bottom, just to kind of give it a different imagery compared to the other side. So as I mentioned before, this just might be my favorite box design I have ever seen. It mixes up so well, and I just love how the colors reflect with the Batman figure. Get into, now that we removed the cover, now we have the actual box where the figure is. So obviously we the color effects again representing the figure. We get yellow with black along with a Batman logo in white coloring at the bottom. Obviously we can get a look at the Batman with all of its accessories. On the right side, even better, the name of the figure, the Batman logo in its original color, which is yellow and black, and the box representing the same thing, so it's yellow and black. The image over here on the back side, it's an image of Batman, the character, not the figure. We get a couple of logos at the bottom with the Flash, the name of the figure, and then once again the Supergirl, Flash, and Batman logos, with the Batman logo being bigger than the other ones, because obviously that is the figure that we are unboxing today. It was the same thing for Supergirl with her logo, and I would expect the same thing with the Flash whenever we get him. The left side was pretty much the same as the right one, so let's go ahead and get the figure out here. Okay, now we have the plastic covering with the figure. Unlike Supergirl, you guys can see a lot of accessories that come with this figure, so very excited about that. Again, just super thrilled to see how this figure looks, and first thoughts on him so far. I like it a lot. I figured it was going to be this way. I'm just glad to know that the texture of the suit isn't as bad as it was for the 1989 figure, and that Keaton head sculpt is looking absolutely awesome. I can't wait to talk about it in detail, but for now, we are off to a great start. I can't find anything so far that would make me question how good this figure is. Everything looks pretty good, but obviously, as we go along, I will be able to give a better opinion about the figure. So now that we've unboxed Mr. Keaton, we'll take a look at the accessories. We'll bring Batman out here and discuss them in full detail. We'll do a couple of side-by-side comparisons, and of course, as always, at the end, we'll do some poses and my final thoughts on the figure overall. Okay, everyone, so we get to the accessories. As unlike Supergirl, we get a lot of accessories and a lot of things that come with this guy. I mentioned on my previous video, I was very disappointed with the accessories that came along with Supergirl. I'm glad to know that I don't have that same complaint here with Michael Keaton's Batman. So we start off with the display base. We get the same style that we got for Supergirl, so a circular display base with the nameplate at the bottom in the same style, and also the Batman logo in the middle, just like we did with Supergirl. Again, we've seen this style of display base with Iron Man figures. I still don't know which is the original kind of toy with this display base, but it looks absolutely awesome. It does have its own, I would say, kind of crotch holder, where pretty much it's a clamp that goes around the waist of the figure. I have no intentions of using that. I feel like the suit will get damaged, so I am not going to use it in any way, but it's up to you guys if you guys want to go ahead and get it on the figure. It does have its USB cable where the lights will turn on. So with Supergirl, I had mentioned that the light up effect was really nice, but the logo wasn't visible at all. Not with this guy. That is an amazing effect. Just look how bright the yellow light is, and the logo, it looks absolutely awesome. This matches the figure. Obviously, the Batman chest logo is colored black as far as the actual logo itself, and the part around it is yellow. So just look how bright it looks. It is an amazing effect. It turns on really, really bright. It's definitely for sure one of my favorite display bases that I've ever gotten. Even though it doesn't have a lot of details around it, just the light effect and how bright it gets, it's an absolute amazing view. So I really like it a lot. So we do get two head sculpts. We get obviously Michael Keaton's head sculpt on the left side that came with the figure, which I was very surprised, but I'm guessing they did it not to damage the cowl in any way. And obviously on the right side, we get the cowl with a couple of interchangeable face effects, which we will show a little bit later. But just know for now that both of these things come with the figure, and I will discuss more on them once we install them onto the figure a little bit later on. I think for now what I can say is that both options are nice, and I can't really complain about any of them. We do also, this is a special edition type of accessory, so it's the cowl with its own kind of display stand with the Batman logo at the bottom. I think this is a very nice display stand, especially if you guys are gonna post a figure in your collection, cabinets with the Keaton head sculpt. So this time the cowl would pretty much be just an extra accessory to kind of have alongside it to put it on your display case. And also, if you guys want to post Keaton with him holding the cowl on, well, now you guys have that option as well. So I think this is a very nice accessory to include with the figure. We get an additional super wired cape, so it has a very, very thick kind of wiring on the top, and it's supposed to be kind of like a glider type of cape to show him, well, I guess flying in a flying position. This looks really, really cool, and what I like is that its position is very still and very hard to kind of move. So whenever we install it onto the figure, which I will do a little bit later on, I can tell you guys that it's not going to be a hard thing to do, and also to pose it that way where the wiring is extended to pretty much the left and the right. I feel like the positioning will be pretty much strong and we won't have any issues. So I really like this glider cape. It looks really, really cool. We do also get some small accessories that come with the figure. So we get 3 batarangs. 2 of them are non-wired. You guys can just install it to one of his hand pieces to pose it that way. The other one is wired. I like the fact that we get both options. Just gives us options to pose the figure in different ways, and just know that that comes along with the figure. Other accessories, we get 2 lower faces for Mr. Keaton. We will install them onto the cowl a little bit later on, and I will let you guys know which one is my favorite, and we'll see if we can see Keaton with these facial effects. But again, as I mentioned before, just know that it comes with 3 effects, these ones and the one that was already installed onto the actual mask. So for now, they look pretty good. And then we get more small accessories. So some of these accessories, they weren't even included in the promo pics whenever they put it on Sideshow. So my hands really aren't going to show what I'm looking at, but just know that we get a line launcher, which is at the very bottom, a couple of bat wheels. On the left side, we get his remote for his Batmobile, along with other things. At the top, we get a bomb timer. We get kind of like a bat mini computer that goes on with his belt. We get both the opened and unopened kind of options. So just know that those are all of the accessories that come with the figure. Again, I'll be honest, some of these I don't think are necessary, but as a collector, you always like to have options to pose the figure in different ways. So I'm kind of glad that they did include these things on with the figure. And then we get 6 hand pieces, all with different poses. The ones on the right are just close fits that already came with the figure, and then the 4 on the right are to pretty much have him hold different things. So either the batarang, the lion launcher, the cowl, whenever he's on mass, just different poses. I like the texture of the gloves. They look really nice. They're nicely sculpted and made out of plastic. And I think these are good enough. Maybe they could have included another pair of different hand poses, but I think with these we will do so. For now, the accessories, they look amazing. Okay, everyone, so we get to the figure. I definitely want to talk about this guy in full detail because there's a lot to discuss. So I'll start off with the head sculpt because that's how the figure came. Again, I'm a little bit surprised about that, but I just think that Hot Toys didn't want us to didn't want the cow to get damaged on its way to the delivery to us. So that's why I feel like they had the Keaton head sculpt already installed onto him. To me, this Keaton head sculpt is perfect. I don't see anything wrong with it. No issues. It's seamless. The wrinkles going all the way down to his neck is great. The skin texture, how loose it is. I can tell this is an old person, which obviously Keaton is at this point in the movie. It looks exactly like Keaton from every single angle. The facial expression is great. And then my favorite effect of them all, I love when the head sculpts are this way, when they're completely seamless, and the way that we can access the rotating eyeballs is by splitting his hair in half. It just makes it so much easier, and at that point I don't have to remove and put the head sculpt back and forth. I could just go ahead and remove that back part from his hair and then just rotate the eyeballs in different ways. And as I try that effect right now, it just looks exactly like Keaton. They did a great job with this head sculpt. I cannot find anything wrong with it in my personal opinion. The only wrong thing about it is what's surrounding it, and it's that neck piece of the cape. It looks absolutely awful. I don't know what the hell Hot Toys was thinking with that effect. I went back to see pictures of the figure, of the character, and I know that the texture of that part of the neck was different, but it wasn't this. This just looks absolutely awful. But let me go ahead and bring on the cowl. So with the cowl itself, thankfully we don't have that horrible piece around the neck area, but the cowl itself, it looks absolutely awesome. Again, I'm just talking about the cowl, not the lower face effects, just the cowl on its own, the texture of it, it looks absolutely awesome. It's thick, it's strong, his earpieces look great, they're pretty pointy and sharp, and just how well done this cowl is done. I've always been a big fan of Keaton's sculpt, cowl from every single movie, from Batman Returns to the 1989 movie as well to this one. The cowl just looks absolutely phenomenal. I really like it a lot. Now, with the lower face effects, I can see Keaton. For sure, I can say they're better than the ones that we got for the 1989 movie. This one is more like a grin. It looks pretty good. The other lower face effects, so this one is kind of him in action. It's a matter of how you guys position these these facial effects. The rotating eyeballs is also a big factor here as far as how they look, but I like them. They're not as bad as the 1989 one, as I mentioned before, so not bad at all. And then the last one is more of a serious look to him. This one to me is my favorite and is probably the one that I'm going to go with when I post the figure in my collection. So again, as I mentioned before, they're better than what we got for the 1989 movie. The texture on both the cowl and the face effects is nice, so no complaints about it at all. With the rest of the suits, so I always like to mention this because I don't want to make it seem like I know a lot. I'm not the greatest with materials. I do know for a fact that his chest piece as well as his shoulder pads, they're made out of plastic, as well as his back piece that you guys are seeing right now. One thing that I hate about these pieces is that they're attached to the figure via Velcro. I really dislike that a lot because what it does is that it comes apart really easily, and then to put it back together, it's not the greatest thing. It's not the easiest thing. Now, as far as the suit itself, so it feels like it's rubber, but it isn't, and unfortunately, I can't tell what it really is. Just know that it's not hard. The texture of it, it's pretty smooth and pretty flat. Unlike the 1989 suit, you guys know how bad the texture of the suit was. This is pretty smooth and flat, and it looks absolutely awesome. I love how it's not too shiny. The satin finish to the paint application of the suit is very nicely done, and again, it feels kind of rubbery, but it doesn't feel like rubber. It also isn't, pleather or leather in any way. So it looks really nice. I have no issues with it. Personally, it looks pretty good. I guess the question would be, once we do articulations, how easy is the figure going to move, or how hard is it going to be to move? So those are things that we'll have to discuss a little bit later on. The belt itself does look pretty nice as well. No pleather whatsoever. No pleather whatsoever. And obviously it's a different color because for the 1989 figure, it's a completely yellow belt. This one, it's actual silver and black. The boots, thankfully, there's a split design and a joint in between his ankles, so that is a great thing because obviously that allows us to pose the figure more easy. And also the split in between the ankles is not that visible, and it's not a bad look at all. So that is another good thing to look at the figure. It's not going to be a difficult design at all. Now we get to the cape. So once again, I really don't know what the material is used with this cape. It feels like it's pleather / leather. The texture of it feels nice. It does have wires on every single side and on the edges, but not at the bottom. The one thing that I really don't like about the wiring is that it's so thin that it's not going to be really easy to pose the cape in different ways. But still in all, I like it a lot. It is a little bit too long from the side, so it'll probably be a little bit difficult to adjust it to the figure. But I do like the texture of it and the material. It feels very, very cool, so I don't think we'll have any issues with the cape as far as the look of it. As you guys know, also it does have another cape, which is the big wired one that is supposed to be used as a glider. I am about to install that one to the figure so that you guys can get a different look to him. For now, what I can say is that both capes are pretty good. No issues with them whatsoever. So let me go ahead and install the other one. And this would be the glider. Let's go ahead and call it a glider. When you guys extend the wires to the sides, just look at how awesome the look is. And as I mentioned before, it's not hard at all to get this look because the wires on the top are so thick and so strong that once you post it this way, it's going to stay this way. Even you see, to move it to the bottom, it's not a hard process at all. It moves very nicely, but again, it's hard to hold it in one single position. So it is a very, very nice look, and I wish I had space in the collection so that way we can get that option of posing it with that glider, because it does look that nice. So a very, very nice cape for this figure. Personally, it looks absolutely awesome, as well as the whole figure, man. I really don't have any complaints whenever I attach the cowl. The whole figure on its own just looks absolutely awesome, so no issues with it whatsoever. The material choices by Hot Toys with this figure are great. I haven't found anything that really looks bad except for the other cape. Whenever we have the Keen head sculpt, that part around the neck area is just not a good look at all. But as far as everything else, it looks pretty good. Okay, so I went ahead and removed all of the capes because I definitely want to talk about the articulations, and I don't want the cape being in the way. I want to make sure that I have full access to this figure. So starting off with the boots, there's no articulation at the bottom of the feet, which is no issue to me whatsoever. But with the ankle, as I mentioned before, since there is a joint right there at the bottom, the articulation is very nice. So it goes to the bottom, to the sides pretty easily. You guys can pretty much turn around if you guys wish to. So right there, we are off to a good start. It's going to move very nicely, so it'll be pretty easy to pose the figure. The legs themselves, because of the material of the suit, they don't extend to the sides that much, which I think I'm okay with. I don't think it's going to be a big issue. The knees do bend all the way to the back with no clicks whatsoever, so that is a good thing as well. And then the knees should go to the top even higher than what I'm doing it, but I don't want to, damage the suit in any way. But just know that the legs don't feel hard at all, so I feel like the articulation should be good to go. The legs do swivel from side to side as well, so off to a good start with both the ankles and the legs. They move pretty nicely. Around the waist area, again, I don't want to damage the figure. It feels like guys can click it from side to side. From front to back. From the sides, it swiggles enough to pose the figure in different positions. So again, this is not going to be the most flexible figure in the world. We're not talking about Spider-Man here. We're talking about Batman. I just love the fact that the figure does move nicely enough to where I can pose the figure. Now, right there, the arms don't move to the sides that nicely, so that's somewhat a small issue. But they do go to the back and front nicely enough to pose the figure in different positions. In between the elbows, the joint bends very nicely with 2 or 3 clicks, so that is a good thing. I think with the arms, they did well as far as the articulations. And then with the cowl, you guys are not going to get any articulation whatsoever. It somewhat moves from top to bottom, but you guys are supposed to install the cowl completely strong. I don't think I did that. That's why it's moving a little bit. And I'm okay with the cowl not getting any type of articulation. As long as it looks good, that's all that matters to me. Okay, and now I actually want to do articulation with both pieces. So we just did the cowl. Now with the Keaton head sculpt, a completely different thing. We get a wide range of different movements. The head sculpt itself, despite being seamless, it is installed via a ball joint onto the figure. So it turns in different, positions, goes front and back, and it has full range of motion. So I would say articulations for this guy they're not perfect, but they're good enough to pose the figure in different ways. Okay, everyone, so now for a quick side-by-side comparison. So obviously this was an obvious one for me. On the right side, we have the 1989 Batman, which I just got last year. And then on the left side, we have the modern suit from the Flash movie. There's no question to me that the modern suit figure is better. And it's not just because the suit is newer. It's just the material choices, the whole texture, the additional head sculpt, which is something that we don't get for Keaton, for the 1989 movie. We only get the cowl, the capes themselves. Everything about the modern suit figure is just much better than the 1989 figure. Whenever we did that unboxing, I mentioned how disappointed I was with the texture of the suit. It just looked like it was melting, man. It was way too much. Also, the lower face effects, they were horrendous as well. The cowl was pretty nice. The accessories that it came with, the display base, it was an absolute beauty. But still, in all, overall, as a figure, I just believe that the modern suit is the better figure. Everything that it has with it, and just the execution of the head sculpt, as well as the cowl and the suit, is just much better in my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree with me on that. By the way, this suit specifically, it reminds me more of the Batman Returns suit. Not necessarily this one. The Batman Returns suit is a figure that I did bought also. It's up for pre-order right now. We should be getting it at the end of the year, possibly next year. I can't wait to compare all the 3 figures. I do believe the Returns figure is more like the modern suit, but it's going to be a very interesting comparison between the 3 of them. With me, honestly, I just think that the 1989 figure by far is the worst of the 3. It's not a horrible figure. Let me get that out of the way. But I just think that there was a lot of things that they could have done better. But to me, with the modern suit, even though it's not fully perfect, I think it's a really great figure. But that's just me, right? Feel free to disagree with me on that on the comments. Okay, and then next side by side, so our latest unboxing, Supergirl from this same movie. So these two I thought were great in action. They kicked some ass throughout the whole movie, and it was nice to see them together. A very weird, I would say, kind of a team up between these two. But in previous shows, movies, video games, I've seen them already have some great chemistry. So for those of you guys who play video games, the Injustice video game, these two were side by side trying to fight Superman and Wonder Woman, as they were pretty much trying to become dictators. So these two kind of had to match up, and it was a very nice and cool team up. And so obviously now we get these two together along with Flash pretty much in fighting scenes. So it was pretty cool, but a very random team up for this specific movie. But this would be the second figure of the collection. Sadly, we only get 3. I had mentioned that with the Supergirl unboxing that there's been 2 figures that have been canceled. So the young Barry, as well as as the Dark Flash that I don't even think was ever released at all. And then I also think there was like a haul of Batman figures, which obviously Keaton had in his mansion, and that also was never released. I don't know if it had to do with probably the lack of interest, right, from us as fans. But what I can say is that these two figures, they look really cool together. I think both head sculpts are amazing. The design of the suits are absolutely awesome as well. And then also the Flash figure, at the time of me recording this figure, it was just announced yesterday that it's ready to be shipped out. The looks of them look pretty nice, so can't wait to team him up with these two figures and complete the full collection. Okay, everyone, so now to end this video, my final thoughts on the figure, a couple of poses, and just what I think overall about this guy. I am happy with what I've gotten from Hot Toys. This is a really, really good figure. It's not perfect, as I mentioned before. The articulations are good, but not great. And then, as I mentioned before, that piece around his neck area is not a great look whatsoever. But as far as that, everything else is great, from the texture of the suit, the head sculpt, the cowl piece, this glider right here that you guys can see on the poses, the display base and how bright that logo is whenever you install the USB cable. I just think that the figure was pretty nice. Also, the accessories that it came with that figure stand that I will use in the collection. This is a really, really good figure, and I'm happy I got him. I'm just a little bit disappointed because with Supergirl, I just don't understand the lack of accessories and how they gave a lot of accessories to this figure specifically. I know that Keaton and Batman overall is more of a legendary character, but still, I just wish they would have made it more of an effort to include additional accessories with Supergirl, which I had mentioned in my previous video, an additional head sculpt, and as well as another cape. But again, that's another figure. I apologize. I don't mean to kind of go out of my way to talk about another figure, but just comparing the two, that's what I wanted to kind of mention. But as I mentioned before, this figure is really good. I like him a lot. He compares well to other Batmans, and the guy just kicked ass. Michael Keaton did a phenomenal job again as Batman, and it was such a thrill to see him again, even though the movie was not the greatest thing in the world. The figure and the character are phenomenal in every single way. So this pretty much should be it, everyone. As always, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this figure specifically, and if you guys did go ahead and set it up for pre-order, and what are your overall thoughts about the guy. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching all of my videos, for tuning in. It means the world to me every time that you guys support me, and if this is the first time that you're watching me, remember to like, comment, subscribe, join, and also hit the notifications bell so that way you guys are always on the lookout anytime I do a figure unboxing. A reminder also that I am on TikTok and Instagram, where you guys can pretty much follow me to view daily updates as well as pictures that I do for all of my figures. So pretty much this should be it for this figure unboxing. By the way, also feel free to let me know in the comments what are things that I can do to get better. I've been at this almost for 2 years now. I'm a couple of months away from being 2 years, and I just want to know what are the things that I can do better still. I know there's some level of improvement that I can do as a content creator, so feel free to give an honest opinion of things that I can do better. But okay, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to this modern suit Batman figure unboxing, and I will see you next time.